Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snake Pit Podcast, your one and only stop for all things entertainment, all things homegrown. Coming to you out of Toledo, Ohio, I'm your host, Jake Pilewski. You can follow us at jakepilewski.com. That's Pilewski. The Snake Pit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're here, second season of the Snake Pit Podcast. Again, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Amanda Pilewski, novelist, and of course, my brother-in-law, comedian Lorenzo Melcher. It's a family affair tonight, coming to you from the Attic on Adams, and I'm here joined by magician/comedian, or maybe comic magician, Mr. Michael Knight. How you doing? And thanks for coming.
I'm doing real good. How about you?
Doing great. Right off the bat, I'm going to get to the first 5 questions that I give everybody the treatment on here, but obviously I have Lorenzo who can speak from the stand-up comedy perspective as well. But I know you have a big show coming up, and right off the bat, I want to talk about that on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
If you would tell everybody kind of what's going down. I know it's you and some comedians, and just give us the details.
It's my annual Michael Knight's New Year's Eve Comedy Bash, and this year it's going to be actually in Monroe, Michigan, at the Quality Inn, so exit 15 off 75. If you go to my Facebook fan page, which is Michael Knight Magic, and there's no K on night, it's just like day and night, but Michael Knight Magic, you can get all the details. But there's going to be 2 comics. One guy, Rob, is coming in from Kentucky, and then Reese, which is a local guy here, will be the first time I worked with him. But after their sets, then I'll take the stage and do my comedy magic, a little bit of ventriloquism, and then from that, it's open up to volunteers to get hypnotized, and then that's when the real crazy show starts.
Wow. So, wow, you're a jack of all trades then when it comes.
Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing is you can get a package deal to where you can get 2 tickets for the show, dinner for 2, DJ dancing after the show, midnight toast with me at midnight, and a hotel room for $150.
Oh wow!
So it's a real good deal and cheaper than the DUI.
Can we do that instead?
It's gonna be a real crazy time.
Yeah, one of these years I'll not perform on New Year's so that I can go be a civilian and a spectator, because I always miss out on these awesome things. And a lot of times it's bands, but as soon as you got a hold of me and said, hey, I got this big show coming up, and I saw the flyer, I was like, yeah. This I would love to. I mean, 150, that's nothing.
It's a great deal. It's, like I said, a lot cheaper than the DUI. And
Reese, you've worked with Reese before, yeah?
Reese is awesome. I like him.
I look forward to work with him. It'll be the first time I've been on stage with him. Well, actually, he'll be on before me, but same stage.
All right, well, let me hit you with the first 5. I'm going to gear it toward the magician aspect, even though you can answer it accordingly. The first 5. The first question I give you is, what was the first time that you were actually engaged, or I should say, you wanted to pursue magic? What was it made that you go as, oh yeah, I want to try this out?
Found out my sister was making $100 a trick.
A trick?
Actually, I was a kid, and started off, I played in a band. I like the look on her face. Played in a band, and I was the drummer. And it got to the point we were supposed to do a show for school. And the closer the show got, I kept wanting to practice. The other guys, wanted to go out and play. We're, in grade school. And so I went to the teacher and said, hey, I need to get out of this. And she wouldn't let me. She's like, no, you booked this date, you need to fill it. And so I said, well, I know a couple magic tricks. And I had, like a little trick deck of cards and, like a tiny little shoebox of, 8 tricks. And so I ended up doing magic. And it was so cool because I wasn't carrying drums and a PA and, all that kind of stuff. All I carried was a shoebox. And now I got enough. My show literally could fill a semi. So I kind of miss those old days of the shoebox.
Wow.
But yeah, that was kind of it. And then in 5th grade, every Friday, if we did a little show, we didn't have homework. So I'd always come up with some little bit to do every Friday. But I would work an entire week to come up with a skit. And so it was pretty easier to just do the homework. But, I would do these little skits, and it would take me all week to get it ready, and made a couple buddies. This is back when Kiss was still something, so we impersonated Kiss. I did Alice Cooper. And then I got into doing some ventriloquism, then I got into doing more magic. And And when I did Alice, I made a girl cry, and I was like, yes. So I realized what the power of performing was.
Yeah.
But I mean, since then, I've done just about everything you can imagine. I've done the restaurant stuff where you come into the restaurant and I perform. I've done trade shows. I've done the big illusions. I've done escapes. Drove a car blindfolded. Just about everything you can imagine. So, it's been a wild ride. It's taken me all over the place.
Wow, that's I'm a little speechless once you started rattling off things that just to me sound like they would take years upon years just to perfect one of those. Well, then, do you have a initial inspiration or a magician that you saw, maybe, or a famous magician, one way or another?
The famous ones when I was a kid
Yeah.
was like Doug Henning and David Copperfield, and got to see them both live. Seen David many times, and got to meet him a few times. And his show always amazed me. For the longest time, I was a copycat David. I did the shirts like him and the whole thing, and did the illusions. And now they're all sitting in the garage. I never touch them anymore. But now it's guys that probably most people's never heard of. It's Michael Finney, Dave Williamson, Matt King out in Vegas, and it's just the real funny guys. And that's my show really changed once I realized that I could be funny on stage.
That's cool. So then, the magic came before the comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to be the real serious guy. I tried to do a bird act, and I was producing birds and doing all this stuff and entering contests. And I remember one time I did a contest, if you remember the old Bijou.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a clogger beat me.
Now, was this when Bijou was on
It was the old downtown where
the
it's gone
downtown
now.
where it's Huntington now?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was way back. And one of the news guys from Channel 13 was there, and he was like the MC, and I don't know, I was 14, 15 years old, and trying to be a serious, thought I knew what I was doing and had no clue. But once the comedy started in, and then later on the hypnosis, then that's when it really kind of changed everything.
Cool. Do you have like a dream collaboration or duet with any kind of other magician or comedian that you never worked with?
I would love to take it more into bigger theaters, and compared to a lot of stuff I do now is from a couple hundred to a couple thousand, but I'd like to get it bigger.
Yeah.
And of course I have it to where I'm not touching anything. You got the roadies to do everything, and you just walk out on stage and do the show. But I don't see that happening. I'm sure I'll still be driving at 3 o'clock in the morning.
As most do.
Exactly.
Because even we've talked before on here with a number of musicians, and even comedians like Lorenzo came on here, and we're talking about what a difference it is. Because I know you said you used to play music as
Right.
well too, and what a different monster it is, because with music, I mean, as you said, the gear and all that. But for the most of us, we are driving, especially comedians
Hours.
and magicians, when not as many bars and restaurants in town are going to have comedy or
Exactly.
magic as much as you can easily put a musician in the corner and make some background noise. Nobody even has to pay attention to him.
Yeah, Rob's coming all the way from Kentucky just to do my show, and it's like, there's no way I would do that for 10 minutes on stage. But
Yeah.
he's got the heart, and and that's all part of the, and as it's all part of the beast of you got to get your time on stage. And I was lucky. I never did the open mics when I started, but I was doing bar mitzvahs and kids' birthday parties, and so I kind of paid my beast a different way.
Yeah.
But
No.
first time I worked at Comedy Club, I was a headliner. I never had to do all the open mics and all that kind of stuff, or MC or so. But the first time I headlined, it was horrible. The audience, I think, liked it, but I hated it. And I had one guy afterwards. I was out there thinking, I'm Mr. Big Shot, ready to sign autographs, and this guy walks by and points up on TV, and there was one of the Wayne's Brothers specials on there, and he goes, "That's what funny is." And I went, wow. And so I went back to the hotel and rewrote the entire show, and it's been the same show that I roughly do now. So it's just, him saying that got me to really change.
Wow.
But, and that's the thing, you have to, doing this stuff, you got to know, if it's not funny, if they're not digging it, no matter how much you love it, it's not going to pay the bills. So you got to get out there and, make the funny.
Now you were saying that you didn't do like open mics and stuff. Is that because you were a magician first?
Yeah, I think it was because, when I was doing it, there really wasn't open mics. And I was kind of coming in at the end of when comedy clubs was hot, but I was doing different bar shows, different things, and I kind of, built my own show to where, it was a 2-hour show.
Okay.
To where, just wouldn't fit on an open mic.
Yeah.
And then, there's just, there's been times I've done like a guest spot where, comedian's doing something. He's like, hey, why don't you jump up on stage and I'll get up and do, a bit. But I actually hate doing that.
Yeah.
It's totally different than, when they're there to see me. So it's like,
I understand.
It's a different kind of monster.
Yeah.
You're just some other guy getting up on stage, so they don't care who you are. I like it better when I got my name on the ticket and, they're coming in to buy a T-shirt and see the show.
A lot of time, a lot of those spots is just time on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I'll drive an hour into Michigan for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's just, I mean, I think part of it too for me is because I don't do it full time. I got a full time job, and I got
that makes a difference.
I got other things I do, but part of it for me is like meeting some of these other people.
Right. You can learn so much too.
And it's just fun meeting people and learning how they do things, or just becoming friends with these guys. And that's,
exactly.
Driving an hour away, and then if there's a show down here, and that's why I've done a couple fundraiser shows where there's people that would drive down here for free to do a fundraiser show for me.
Oh yeah. Just to help out.
So I like the community.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what amazed me when, not to kind of switch the subject, but I've lost 2 sons. My 16-year-old to a brain aneurysm, and then my oldest son took his life over a girlfriend. And the comics just jumped up. They put together a fundraiser to help me with funerals. Because when you're a full-time entertainer, you don't expect something like that. And so they jumped up and they put on a show. Disinfecting Connections was still around. They did a show there. And I actually went on and did the show because I'm like, I can't let you guys do it and not, just sit there. So I went on and did my thing. But it just amazed me how comics will do stuff for other comics. And even magicians jumped up and helped. And it's just... It really is a family.
Yeah.
So it is kind of cool.
Wow. Well then.
So is that still question 1 or?
No, we've already done 3 of the questions. We've just been sneaking them in there on you, and you started to even answer some of the next 2.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean in a good way.
That's my psychic of me.
No, it's. Or did you hypnotize me beforehand?
Tacos,
I'm always thinking that. Do you have a most humbling and or embarrassing experience then as a performer?
Oh boy. I guess humbling would just be the whole, I talk about my kids now during the show, and I'm amazed how people come up afterwards and kind of engage me. And that kind of brings everything, full circle. Because you don't know what it's like to lose a kid, so you've lost one. So I find that there's a lot of people out there that never let anybody talk to. So now I still have people that send me messages and stuff that have met me on stage. And, we've kind of bonded over something as strange as that. Embarrassing, boy, I've had a lot of them.
That seems to be the original segue into everybody's answer.
Yeah, because probably one of the favorite things is a thing I do at the end of the show. It's post-hypnotic, to where I wake them up out of hypnosis, but I give them a suggestion ahead of time. And bar napkins are $100 bills. So they dance around to Atomic Dog, collecting, they think they're the world's sexiest dancers. And it's funny because they're totally wide awake, they're out of it. I say a certain word, they go back in and they'll dance. And so I've had, like one old guy get in my face after the show, telling me to keep my employees away from his wife, and I'm like, I don't know who these people are. It's like they're all part of the, they're just part of the audience. I don't know who they are. But he thought I was paying him to rub up on the wife. I'm like, no, I've got nothing to do with that.
Clearly a skeptic.
Yeah, and you can find some stuff on YouTube where people are in like 7-Eleven trying to buy nachos at 3:00 in the morning with paper napkins and. So, yeah, whenever there's people know me when I'm in town. They're like, "Oh, Mike's back in town. Here comes the napkins."
I'm never ever going to learn how to hypnotize people.
Yeah, you got to come to the show. It's a crazy show.
Would you want to get hypnotized, Amanda?
I'm not sure. I'm a little afraid.
You won't do anything you don't want to do.
Well, I know, but I don't want to do anything ever. So
well, there's some people that just kind of sit there the whole show. I'll get slight reactions out of them, and then the ones that like these guys are more, they'd want to be in the spotlight, so they'd be a little more active, and they'd be the guys that pick on out all the time, and And I would just do nice light things to you so that you can still experience it, but not make a fool of yourself. And I'd have him running around grabbing all the napkins.
Could you make her feel like she was a cat? Because she always says she's kind of always wanted to at least be a cat for a day.
Oh yeah,
I already feel that way.
Yeah, you could do that easy.
Done.
Meow. Your back may not like it, but yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Or we could do the orgasm thing. So. I'm not sure what kind of show you guys do here, so I'll just leave it at that.
Well, we're still waiting on that sponsorship call, so I mean, in the meantime, we can do whatever we want. Then do you, the fifth and final question of the first five before we completely open the floor.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hypnotizing us right now, because then I will have to go through and edit this, and I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah, you don't do that on the air. But I've done it on the radio, though.
So what pushes your buttons? And in that, I mean, what drives you as a performer, like inspires you, and then what also kind of ticks you off?
The laughs is what gets me going. I actually walk on two broken legs. I was in a car show. I was in a car wreck. I did a comedy club, and after the week at the comedy club, I had another comedy condo. And you probably know what that's like.
I haven't got that far yet. But.
Yeah. Usually they call them a comedy condo, but they're like disgusting.
That's
like,
what I hear from other people.
And the nice thing is when I come in, I get the entire place to myself, but it's still disgusting.
Wait. What is this comedy condo?
Usually it's like a really bad apartment on the east side.
Okay.
Where it's just like, they pay $200 a month, and there's Playboys laying all over the place, and there's just, you don't eat anything in the fridge, and it's just disgusting. And I forget what I was originally going with that. Oh, I was coming home, and I actually fell asleep. I was about 10 minutes away from home, and if you get on my page, you can see the pictures of the car and stuff, the wreck. But my legs are broken so bad that they're actually still broken, and this one's grown back 10%, but I've got a rod I walk on, and my right leg, they actually cut 3 inches off me. So I've got like the Frankenstein shoe, but I get the good parking spots and the cane that looks like a bone from a fan of mine. But
someone gave that to you?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, guy made it. He made one for me and the guy that plays House, if you remember the old TV show. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they ever used it on the show, but that's my claim to fame. Is I got that for
Hugh Laurie's cane.
For destroying my legs. But
hey.
So yeah, I can drive blindfolded. I just can't drive sleeping.
Well, at least in true comic spirit, you can still also joke about it.
Oh,
too,
you have to. That's. But yeah, as far as the laughs is what keeps me going because it hurts like crazy. And the longer I stand the show, like I said, usually last hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the crowd. And I drench sweat because it's just the pain's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's why one thing that scares me. I don't know how much longer I can do this because it's finally going to get to where I just can't stand anymore. But I think one thing that bugs me now is just the PC of comedy. And, the snowflakes and the people crying about the dumbest things. And, guys that I know do these simple routines and bits. And somebody's crying, oh, he touched me. It's like, oh, he didn't. He did a rope trick, And that's what just drives me nuts. It's like, it's a magic trick. If you want to come out and have fun, get up on stage, have a good time. Don't put a blog up about how horrible it was, So there's so many guys that just want them to do it now. Want them to do stand up because it's changed so much.
That's what I don't get either. Like, if you know you're going to a show, like you should be open-minded about whatever's going to happen.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And this was a famous place for magic shows. And this guy, he's actually a very good friend of mine. And I read the whole article on it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like he's done the routine on TV, and if he can do it on the 8 o'clock TV show, you can do it on any stage, and it's not something bad.
Right.
She tried to change it, and then it actually finally got thrown out of court or whatever, what she tried to do. But the thing is, it cost the guy a lot of money.
Yeah.
He had to prove that he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
To me, that's where, it's like, all right, now you should pay me because, you took that money and you did all that.
Yeah. Drug your face in the name through the mud and all that.
Exactly. Or behind a car or something. I don't know.
No, obviously, if he did the trick in, a dark alley at 2 a.m., then that's a totally different thing. But.
Exactly. But that's the thing, it's like, well, she even talked about how she's carrying a bottle of empty wine around. So it's like, you know what, you shouldn't be writing a blog after you've been carrying an empty bottle of wine. So...
You can write a song, just not a blog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just Uber it.
Well, I want to know because comedy and and magic is such like music. It's just a wide open-ended art form, and
Right.
do you ever? I always wonder this because comedians, I know. I mean, you don't get. You and I talked earlier off the record where you're playing, as a musician, and you get somebody walking and they want to hear all these songs. So you don't have. When you do stand-up, obviously somebody's like, "Will you tell that one joke that I like?"
Oh yeah, and they'll blow it.
Right.
And they're like, do that, and they'll say what the ending is, and it's like, well, I can't now.
So do you ever have like a request for an actual like trick?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like the
there's
rabbit out of the hat kind of thing?
Kind of. There's
Yeah.
certain things that I do that people just, like I do I'll borrow a lady's ring and I'll make it vanish, and it ends up inside a gumball machine in a little plastic, egg kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And if there's one point I tried to take it out of the show and try something different, and people are like, no, we want that again. That's just so that you do get where they'll send a thing going, hey, I'm bringing a bunch of people. Can you do this trick? But the worst one is when you're on stage and they'll say, do the ring where it ends up in the gumball. And it's like, well, I can't now because you just told them what's going to happen.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't, and they're like, oh.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that's the bad part is, when
I hope you weren't planning on closing with it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, there goes the closer. You see the gumball slowly sliding back.
For the encore, I'm pulling back out the deck of cards again.
Yeah.
You can get ammo balloons.
Yeah. The one I just started doing is where it ends up on a hourglass. So I've got the hourglass out there the whole time. They say how much time I've got. And then once I vanish the ring, and actually they can put it in the little ring box and set in front of them the entire time. They open the ring box and it's gone. And then finally I point over that we're out of time. And then they look at the hourglass and it's on the middle, where it comes skinny from where the sand's coming through, it ends up there. But the bad part is I got to bust an hourglass every time. And now I'm having a hard time finding these little hourglasses.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it gets expensive too.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah, but somebody listening that's trying to make some good money could come up with a cheap way to make hourglasses for magicians.
I've tried to find somebody that like blows glass or something. That,
Yeah.
it's like make me a few dozen.
Like the sugar glass they use in Hollywood. Would that work?
I don't
Or
know
that too?
That might be too
fragile,
breakable.
yeah.
Yeah. That probably better. I'm a fat guy, so I just eat it.
Aren't there like board games that rely on little plastic hourglasses?
All those are real tiny though.
Are they?
This is about the size of your glass is what. That,
Oh, okay, that's bigger.
Yeah, that won't,
I'll leave that
won't fit in a
alone.
board game. You don't have to. Again, we are our own sponsors, so you're safe. Especially when we got essentially two comedians sitting at the table and a novelist.
Which actually I need to talk to you. I'm working on a book. So.
Nice.
Well, no, I mean, you guys can talk right now if you want.
Oh, okay. All right, what, you guys gonna leave and then
Yeah.
I'll have a purr like a kitten here in a minute.
Oh dear God.
Now, like in a
Can you
legitimate
make the two of
way,
them disappear?
in a legitimate way, or is it going to be like hypnosis?
I just don't do litter box.
Me neither.
I'm glad this isn't a never have I ever game.
You guys have to come to the show. You guys would be a blast at the show.
Yeah, if I wasn't playing, I would be that heartbeat. But that's what I was going to ask you too. Is like, how often do you have a show?
Around Toledo a few times a year.
Yeah.
And the other stuff's on the road. But yeah, I try to set up every few months to do something around here.
Is there one place in particular that like regular?
Not right now. All the places I regularly did have either closed or changed hands and that kind of thing. But that's actually one thing we're kind of hoping with the venue in Monroe, because it's only a 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
So if it works out, it could be something where it'd be like a regular kind of spot to where every couple months I'll be in there doing the show. And
Neat.
years ago I used to have a spot downtown, and then like I said, places close and different things, or they get greedy and so things happen to where it changes. But
Yeah.
in the long run, I would love to find just a regular home again, and then every couple months, or back in the day where I was doing it every first Saturday I had a show, and it was nice because and then the nice thing about my show is you can see it over and over and over again, and it's always different. It's always basically the same, but it's all different because of the people, and a lot of stuff I go off the cuff with it, and so every show is totally different.
Do you find that like if you could come up with a ratio of comedy to magic, is it?
Well, the way I base the show, I call it comedy magic because it's like a mixture. There's really no rabbit out of the hat kind of thing, but it's just real funny magic tricks. And then there's some stuff that you go, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? But there's a lot of that, and then once it gets into the hypnosis, that's comedy 100%. And because I got people thinking that I've got a giant penis and all this, and they're up there holding it, and so yeah. And well, this is the adult show. This is the adult show. And I do clean shows too, and corporate shows, all that kind of stuff. But there's no penis there, no. But,
for a long time growing up, like I knew there was magicians and comedians, and then I don't know if it's like a more recent thing where that. You can tell me that they're coming together, because the one I remember, and I'm sure people always talking about, is the Amazing Jonathan.
Oh yeah,
that's the one I remember growing up, and for a long time, that's the only one
he was one that kind of really took it mainstream, and there's so many other guys like him. But the bad part is only kind of like a handful of little ones that still make a living at it and do it full time. Okay, and kind of like the guys I was saying earlier, Dave Williamson, if you look him up, Mike Finney. One guy that taught me a lot was Tom Mullica. Afraid Tom passed away, but he had a bar in Atlanta called the Tomfoolery, and he was the sole performer 7 nights a week.
Wow.
He would perform there, and you can find him on Letterman doing the cigarette routine where he eats cigarettes.
Oh, does he have glasses on?
Yeah,
okay, I know that guy.
And it's just the craziest thing you've ever seen.
I saw that we're a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a whole pack.
Yeah.
But, and I sat this close to him before, right across the table, and he did it.
What?
And it's
crazy.
just amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Tom Mullica, and just look up guy who eats cigarettes. The guy is amazing, and it was weird that and it actually broke my heart when he passed, because he was just such a good guy, and he went in for appendix surgery, and they nicked something, and he died on the table. So it wasn't even something, and he beat cancer or leukemia, and then had that happen. But yeah, he was the one that really taught me how to be funny. He's just like, be yourself on stage, and just make it bigger. And but there's guys like him, Matt King. If you ever get to see Matt King out in Vegas, he's extremely funny. Amazing Jonathan's actually coming back doing shows again.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And
I just remember, I think we talked about it on another podcast, but I think I was in high school or in junior high when I saw him. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And he really does kind of like the goofy kind of magic.
Yeah.
And where more of the magic I do is more, I still want to make you think too.
Okay.
But there's still some really stupid stuff in the show too. So there's definitely a part of him in the show.
One of my favorite ones is when he gets someone from an audience, tears a 20 in half, says he's gonna put it back together, and it's like, sometimes magic sounds like tape.
Yeah.
and then it's just in a ball of tape. Yeah. That's my favorite. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and he was actually the one club they had near Toledo. He did his last show here.
Yeah.
And then he actually, after he was starting to feel better, and now he's doing a few shows here and there.
Oh, nice.
So I'm happy to see him back at it. Hey guys, we're doing a show in
Maybe you should go put some magic on them, or hypnotize them into silence.
I was going to say, can you hypnotize people to just shut up?
Until you're trying to make them laugh, because then that would be really awkward.
Yeah.
No, just like for other people.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like, plant that suggestion and give me like a keyword, so when I want I can just say it and it stops.
If I could figure that out, I'd be a rich guy. Why is she looking at you, Darren?
Say you'd probably work for one of the bigger powers, whether it be countrywide or worldwide.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I had a really good question to ask, and then it completely left me. Oh yeah. So I want to do magicians have hecklers like comedians do? I mean, do you have, is it like
I don't have many
Yeah.
because they know I kind of tear them apart. But you'll get the drunk that it's just still belligerent. It's like what? But I really don't get very many of my shows.
Because you're that good.
I don't know if it's that or just I'm 6'4" and 400 pounds. I used to be a bouncer, so it's I walk around with a bone cane. They think I'm the bouncer until I hit the stage. But I really don't get that many, and when I do, I shred them.
Yeah.
I shred them. There's some guys that different ways to handle it, but to me, people are paying good money to be there, and they don't want to hear some drunk. So, I try to stop it as soon as I can. And, if you're that drunk, just leave, Otherwise, shut up. And just like another thing that drives me nuts is cell phones. Don't videotape my show. Don't just sit and enjoy the show.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, just put it away. Just, don't watch it through your screen. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
And that really gets me.
It's one thing, obviously it's going to happen at a concert. Because, I mean, you're expected to be loud anyway, and the concert's loud, and so whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get away with it
But
more.
it's a lot different when they're holding it up, and, the guy behind you's trying to see, and he's trying to look around your phone, and, or they're live streaming it. I just did one show, and the guy live streamed it. And I'm like, you owe me a lot of money because you just had 200 people watch that show. So that's $15 a head you owe me. And he's like, what? So it's like,
That's crazy.
But that's the times now. But yeah, I'm trying to come up. I'm ready to make like paper bags to where as soon as you come in, you got to put your phone in the bag. And there's actually, I guess, some clubs now. I guess it's comedy clubs, different clubs that you have to lock your bag in this thing, and they give you the key when you leave, so that you can unlock it. And that way you're not on your phone. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
it would suck to sit there and wait for the key, but
I've heard of that.
yeah. But I think it's it's scary that it's getting to that point, but.
Well, yeah, cell phones are the new lighters. It's just that lighters only really came on really when it was a nice like
slow
sappy song
yeah,
playing.
exactly. To where the real rockers are in the urinal and everybody else out there with the flame going.
Well, and plus, I mean, if you said you didn't do the open mics thing, but I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking to a guy from Black Keys, Dan Auerbach.
Yeah.
And he said the worst thing is that sometimes we play a song at a show, and we're trying to like try it out with the crowd, and it's not completely finished, and we're just trying to get our feet wet. I imagine like comedians will do that with jokes, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm like, but
the
then
hard part.
all of a sudden somebody's capturing it and they're going live with it or something, and now it's
You're
out there,
blowing it, yeah,
and
it's not
you're
something you
only
want out
60% there with it, and you're like, well, man, I don't, and then you start getting it in your head, and you don't even want to revisit it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the worst part. Or if something does flop, it's like you're human. That's the nice thing with magic is a lot of times you don't know if it's going to screw up, so it's like. I can blow a trick and move on to the next one, and you won't realize, I just killed a dove or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a joke. I don't do doves anymore. But they won't let me. Yeah.
He's moved on to pigeons. He's cleaning up the parks.
Actually, I'm working on a mind-reading guinea pig. Dave, the mind-reading guinea pig. But
Words I never thought I'd hear in succession.
yeah, exactly.
Now, is there because I imagine there's a Bible of tricks out there. Is there like source material that all the magicians go to try to perfect these certain tricks?
Yeah, and a lot of it's depending on what you want to do. There's different there's road to card magic, different things for guys who want to get into card stuff, and kind of an uproar right now in magic is guys complaining about YouTube because kids can get on there and learn stuff. But when I was coming up, you had to prove yourself in magic to kind of learn the next step, and then you would show your way there, and then you get to the next step. Now you can Google stuff, and and the worst part is usually it's not even how it works, but so kids are learning bad magic that way. But yeah, there's different books, DVDs. There's magic shops. There's a little shop here in town, and actually he's struggling right now because people just don't go out. They go on the internet.
Yeah.
But I used to own. Originally, when I was a kid, it was Ted Crothers Magic Studio. Then I bought it back in '99, and I ran it for about 5 years. And it was the Magic Studio. So guys would come in, and I teach them. And the nice thing is, I've got some students now. That there's one guy that he travels Europe, and he doesn't have a real job. He'll just perform, make tips, crash on somebody's couch, but he's an extremely good magician. And that's how he lives now. And it's all because he come into my shop one day after seeing David Blaine on TV.
All right.
So.
Well, then, do you guys have any closing thoughts before we move on to the? Go ahead, Amanda. I see the look in your eye.
Yeah, that kind of scares me.
It should. Will you teach me a magic trick someday?
Oh, someday. I thought you meant like right now.
Well, I mean, like no one's going to see it now, so that wouldn't be very entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, I've actually done magic on the radio, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But I've also done magic for blind people.
Be funny and be magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done magic for deaf people. I've done hypnosis for deaf people. That was really strange. And then when they applaud, they wave their hands.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't sure what was going on at first. And and then whenever I get like the lady doing the sign language, I make her say things that she should never say. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so it ends up being a totally different kind of show. But yeah, you can, I can show you a lot of stuff.
Meow.
I mean, do you have one in mind, or is there?
No. I peaked in my magical career at a very young age with a toy from Taco Bell.
I'm just going to leave that right there.
So what would you say is worse, the toy from Taco Bell Magic Kit or the YouTube video?
Well, if it made her peak at 18, I guess that was pretty good. So
Was that like...
I was like 6.
Oh, okay.
But I took her till she was 18 to peak. So
Now you see it, now you do.
that's not a magic trick.
Lorenzo, you have anything closing?
No. No.
Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it.
Have you ever, or I don't know if you have, or have any interest in going on like America's Got Talent or any of those?
Not so much America's Got Talent. I've got a lot of friends that have done it, and the horror stories of how they treat magicians. Although now there's been, ones have won, so it's kind of changing, and now there's been a few ventriloquists that have won. So it's a lot different than 10 years ago when I first started. But for me, the stuff I do, I don't know how it would play on there. So for me, no.
Well, you also don't want to change, change how you do it and who you are.
That's the worst part is they've made these guys do an act that wasn't them.
Yeah.
And, because they're saying, this is TV, this is how we got to do it. And, this guy's done this trick for 20 years a certain way. And then, last minute he's switching everything up. So it's like, it's like switching your tag on a joke. And it's just because they think it's going to be funny doesn't mean it's going to be. So, that's the hard part. But, when I was coming up, it was the get on Carson.
Yeah.
And you really don't have that now. There's no Tonight Show or anything that has the same kind of, as soon as you get on it, every club wants you kind of thing, But, that's kind of like a sad part of magic or just entertainment now. There's really not that kind of show that, guys want to be on it.
That jumpstart something.
Yeah, exactly. To where, it adds a zero to you or, gives you a little credit for, it's like, hey, I was on, because even to say you're on Fallon or something, it's not the same as what it used to be. But, if Ellen calls tomorrow and says, hey, you want to come on? I'd be like, yeah, sure. So, that's kind of the tricky part. It's a double-edged sword, I guess.
Plus, I imagine in high definition or even 4K ultra definition, it probably...
Yeah, I'm scary in any kind of definition.
Well, no, I didn't mean that.
You'll see every bead of sweat on it.
No, I mean I'm thinking of in terms of the magic behind it. I mean, you do a trick and it's and you don't have all that detail, kind of like the CGI in a movie. You can see it much more.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a microscope.
Well, that's where it would be something just for that show.
Yeah.
Where there's some stuff I've held on to where it's like if it ever pops up, then that's when I'll show this off.
Yeah.
But
don't shoot me at this angle.
Yeah.
Because this is the giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually Letterman was horrible at that, where he would get guys on and then they would do an overhead shot. It's
right.
Like, what are you doing? Don't they at least do a practice run where it's like, here's what we're doing, and because I don't care if the guys running the booth knows what's going on. But one show I do like right now is Penn and Teller Fool Us, where they get a lot of different magicians on, and that's actually a pretty cool show. That they treat magicians right, they show the magic right, and they show it as close as what it would be in real life. Now, there's some of these guys that went on these certain contests, and the stuff they're doing, they can never do in real life. It's only something you can do on TV. And to me, if you're going to be a magician, you got to be able to do it to the real world.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're nobody.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool. If you don't mind, I'm gonna pick your brain one last time. Do you have any advice out there for an aspiring magician or comedian or anybody of the performing arts?
Get a real job.
Well, you were talking about $100 a trick, so I mean, now you're sending mixed signals.
Well, you got to call my sister about that.
Oh, honey.
You can explain it later.
I know.
I don't think you do.
I know.
Explain
my
it
jokes
to
get
us.
lost completely.
Because they're not funny.
That's why I don't do stand up.
It's a beast. It's got to be something that, part of me wishes I still had a real job so that, I could play around and do what I want, because it becomes a totally different kind of job when you're constantly, because you become your own roadie, your own sales agent, your own manager, your own, and I've got other people that work with me, but, it gets to where it's just a crazy, people see the show and they're like, oh my God, that's incredible. They don't realize that, I'm at that show at 10 o'clock in the morning, getting all the ATA cases out, getting them into the venue, setting everything up, clearing the cases out of the way, sound checking, running to get something to eat, going back to the hotel, showering, going back and doing 2 hours on stage, and then packing everything up after the meet and greet, and so all they see is the time on stage, and they think somebody else is coming by picking up all the tricks.
Yeah.
So, if it's something you're really serious about it, just work it. Just, I love getting guys on stage to give them time. So if there's any comics in one time, and if they work for it, I have no problem, giving them a spot to work. And because that's the main thing you got to do is just get in front of people.
So 2 hours,
it sounds like a long time, but when you see the show, it's like, wow, it's done already. It's just, because you laugh so much during the show that it doesn't feel like it's 2 hours.
Well, as a spectator, I think it's great. I just can't imagine
that's
from
a
your
long
aspect.
time,
That's a long time to be up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Constantly.
Yeah.
At least I get a break after an hour playing music.
Yeah, that's I kind of wish, and now I keep going because I don't do an intermission or anything. I just kind of hit it, and it's like, and it's funny. You'll watch people where they're doing the PP dance because they're like they got to go, and actually my fans call themselves the PP girls because somebody usually does a little wee wee during the show. So I didn't name them. I did not name them. This is what they call themselves. I so wish they would come up with a better name. But, But and it's funny too because I'll hear that shriek. I'm like, oh, that one over there just did. But like I said, I get so many people that come to the show over and over and over and over and over again that I should start carrying pads or something maybe.
Right.
If you got the panty liners or something.
Maybe they should know better.
Yeah. But that's the thing, you have a few drinks, and the next thing you don't want to get up, and you're having a good time, and the next thing it's like, oh, I really got to get in there. How do we go from this to talking about?
You got to be selling some souvenir diapers or something with that signature on it.
Something, the Michael Knight panty liner or something. Oh, which reminds me, I did bring you a gift. There's a Michael Knight T-shirt.
Oh, see, you said panty liner, and you said you brought me a gift, and I said, oh, what is that?
I apologize. I didn't realize you guys should be here. I would have brought you one.
We can share.
You can,
I was going to say, we're married, so that's half mine.
Yeah, you'll be sleeping in it in no time.
I dig. Thank you very much. Check that out.
Oh, that's cool.
See, everybody? See?
Looks like a deck of cards, but it has my name and everything on it.
That's awesome. Who'd you have do the shirts, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I designed it myself.
Oh, wow.
And then that was done by a guy out in Point Place. And he does a real good job for me on all my silkscreen stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thanks for being on here. And one last time, go ahead and plug that show again for New Year's Eve.
All right, it's going to be the Michael Knight New Year's Eve Comedy Bash. Just look up New Year's Eve Comedy Bash on Facebook, and it'll pop up the event page. Like I said, $150. You get show, dinner, basically everything. Hotel room, breakfast in the morning, everything but the drinks. You cash bars, whatever you want to drink. But that's going to be at the Quality Inn, of course, December 31st, Sunday night, and it's right up on Monroe, exit 15. So I know right now they still got some packages, and actually, if you go to my fan page, we're doing a giveaway.
Yeah, where can people find you?
Facebook / Michael Knight Magic, and again, it's NIGHT. There's no K, and it's not night, but it's like day and night. So Michael Knight, and but if you get on the fan page and just share it, and then on the 22nd, I think we're doing a drawing, so you can actually win a $150 package to come to the show.
Cool.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for being here. This is Jake Pilewski signing off with Lorenzo Melcher and Amanda Pilewski here with Michael Knight. Thanks for being here. You can follow us at jakepilewski.com. That's Pilewski. The Snake Man.